Sorry, I haven't updated because I've been really busy and got caught in the rain earlier today. So anyway, earlier today I was standing in the rain for 45 minutes waiting for the bus to come, and I managed to get the bus, got caught in the rain again when the bus stopped when I got off at Pokong in SS2 while waiting for the next bus to take me to the Ayurveda center. And then as soon as I got off the bus, it was a heavy downpour. Took a while to cross the road and got soaked again. But I went to the Ayurveda center. My appointment was 11. I arrived at 10:30, drenched in rain and very cold and shivering. And the therapist said he was ready. I don't have to wait till 11 o'clock. So I had a quick hot shower, which warmed me up. And then he gave me a lovely hot oil massage, which took away all my aches and pains, particularly from the bike crash on Saturday. And then he poured the eye bath, the medicinal antioxidant to my eyes. And then he gave me a scalp massage, applied some medicated coconut oil. Then he gave me some powder to sniff to prevent me from getting a cold. Anyway, that was really lovely, and I'd like to thank all those who contributed to my treatment. I went for treatment last Friday and today, and then I booked 2 more sessions because of your kind donations. It was possible to go again on Friday and Monday as well. And tomorrow I go to my optometrist to do an OCT and to tell her actually that the UMMC Jakuns had misdiagnosed me. After 4 years, they said now my diagnosis is central serous chorioretinopathy and not age-related macular disease, which is what they had been telling me the past 4 years. So these bloody clowns, don't their lecturer or professors check their work, So, after 4 years only, luckily got one intelligent medical officer who was a Chinese gentleman. I can't remember his name. And then the appointment after that was an Indian lady doctor. Okay, MO, graduate MO. I also forgot her name. Usually I don't remember their names unless they are really outstanding or really stupid and not worth, they don't deserve to be practicing medicine, Anyway, not necessary to mention the names So I'm going for the OCT tomorrow because tomorrow when I go, it's at the optometrist, the vision space in SS2. My appointment's at 11. Hopefully it doesn't rain, but if it, I'll be prepared. If it rains again like today, I'll wear a proper raincoat, a rain jacket and stuff, weatherproof. There's a saying in Norway, there is no such thing as bad weather, only inappropriate clothes. Anyway, when I go tomorrow, I'll ask a lot of questions because when you're at UMMC, you can't ask so many questions because they put the mydriatic agents in my eyes. Mydriatic agents are, medicines that in fact, they put 2 or 3 different types. I can't remember because, anyway, they dilate the pupils so that they can look into my eyes easily. So I've already got my pupils permanently dilated. They put some on, everything is super bright. And then they try to explain to me on the OCT, you see your Baruch layer, your Bruch's layer or your choroid layer, I can't see a damn thing. What's the bloody point of stupid jacuns Anyway, usually if I go to UMC, I try to bring my daughter, who's a dental surgeon. At least, she'll understand the lingo. And I also, print out the literature for her to read, list of questions, FAQ and all that kind of thing for her to ask. And answer on my behalf. She'll write down the answers, but she can't make it on the 25th of November because she already booked every Monday swimming classes for my granddaughter. And if she doesn't go, then you'll be burnt. So that's never mind. I'll go on my own. Also, if they make a stupid statement, I can tiao them cow without embarrassing my daughter around. I know how to swear in about half of different languages. In the Chinese dialects also, I can swear in 4 different dialects. Okay, so don't play with me and annoy me. As I always say, I got the zero tolerance for stupidity. Anyway, I went for Bekam on Saturday, which was prepaid. Usually I buy a package of 5 hours and I try to make it last a year because it's 200 ringgit an hour. But if you buy it as a package, it only costs 680. So on Saturday, I used up my last 40 minutes and I have to save up for another 680 before I can buy another package lah. So what was it? Yeah, besides Bekam, which is wet cupping, which removes toxins from the fatty tissue in the orbits of the eye. So whatever toxins in the eye can migrate to the fatty tissue and not be in the eye. Particularly, I'm trying to persuade the serum in the choroid layer, which is filling the choroid and causing my chorioretinopathy to migrate to the orbits. Okay, so how Bekam works, and this is in the book Innovative Bekam, written by Dr. Junaida's late mother, who founded the clinic. She did her PhD. The book is actually based on her PhD on Bekam, is that we are primates, and primates, as opposed to carnivores, felines and canines, not very efficient at removing fat-soluble toxins from the body. So by physically removing the toxins from the fatty tissue, the toxins in the body where it's not supposed to be can migrate out to the store. The fatty tissue is the store. So the main area usually is on either side of the spine. So if you have a gout attack and you can't walk, you have to walk on your heels like a crab side by side because you can't put the ball of your feet on the ground because it's like effing crazy. And you do the Bekam within 45 minutes, you'll have immediate relief all over your body, not just on your feet, but also your wrists, your fingers, and everything else, because they remove the toxins from the store on either side of the spine and the fatty tissue there. And then whatever's in your extremities will immediately migrate to the store because it is no longer saturated. It can go there. And then you go again 2 weeks later, you remove whatever else from the other parts of the body that's migrated to the store, which is fatty tissue on either side of the spine. So in her book Innovative Bekam, Dr. Helena, the late Dr. Helena Abdullah, she's actually a Chinese convert to Islam. She married a Syed. That's why the daughters all Dr. Sharifah this and Dr. Syed this and or whatever. Anyway, in fact, the other son also part-time worked at the clinic just after the mother passed away. He's accident emergency trauma doctor at one of the private hospitals. But he took time off to run the mother's clinic for a while. And then he went back to his full-time job. And Dr. Junaida closed the branch in Ampang and took over the mother's clinic in Taman Tun, where I go to. And I've been going there for the past, 10, 13 years or so. Okay. So there are particular parts on each side of particular vertebrae, which are the store for particular organs or extremities of the bodies. Okay, they've got it all mapped out. So for the eyes, besides the orbits, the eyes also at the back of the head. But 40 minutes, I didn't have time to do that. But my previous visit, we did Bekam at the back of the head, the nape, above the nape. So that's how that Bekam works. It's a rather direct physical extraction of toxins, fat-soluble toxin particularly. Now, how acupuncture works is basically as an adjunct to whatever else I'm doing. The needles are along meridians or energy paths. The energy centers are called chakras, and the highway where the energy flows are called meridians. So anyway, the needles stimulate blood circulation, and blood, of course, is the carrier of nutrients to every cell in your body. It's also the longkang, which removes all the toxins from every cell in your body. So stimulating blood flow means that I can bring nutrients to my eyes, and I can also remove toxins from the eyes, so the fatty deposits where the toxins will be stored temporarily until my next become. And traditional Chinese medicine also has a cheap supplement for all the minerals and vitamins and antioxidants for the eyes. A month's supply costs $37.50. That's 3 bottles. Each bottle has 100 tablets, and it's supposed to take 9 tablets a day. 3 tablets 3 times a day. Okay, so it'll last about a month. Now, the equivalent in Western medicine, like eye bright or something like 180 ringgit, and you have to take twice a day, and anyway, in absolute terms it's a lot more expensive, 180 compared to 37.50. So that's what I can afford. That's why I buy. There are also by BioLife AREDS compliant eye supplements. AREDS is age-related eye disease study. So there were 2 studies, AREDS 1 and AREDS 2. So in AREDS compliant vitamin supplements, they have vitamins A, C, and E, and they have zinc and selenium, because those have been proven by the AREDS study to be beneficial, and it's in the dose that's recommended. And I think you take those twice a day as well, because the antioxidants have and the antioxidants, lutein is in there as well, because the antioxidants have a short half-life, so take the tablets, 1 tablet twice a day, or 2 tablets, or whatever it was. It was explained to me, but I wasn't really listening because it was out of my budget. And then the herbal one, Eye Bright, is even more expensive. I think it's $180-$40 more. So that's that. Of course, LMM people have the equivalent, but they're not very transparent in what they put inside. And in any case, I can't read the packaging because, I can't read small fine print, especially if it's black text and light background or colored background, just make it so difficult for me to see. So I didn't bother to read. But if people want to sponsor, I'll take. I'm not averse to receiving charity. To me, it's people are just pawns in doing God's work. So if I get a gift, it's basically a gift of love from God, using the pawn, God's worker, as it were, because God doesn't come down in a helicopter and give you the supplement. It doesn't work that way. So God uses people, other people around you. So, for example, last Thursday on November 1st, last Friday, 7th, I went to a birthday party. And I gave the birthday boy a bottle of my chaat masala because, I'm quite skint. That was the only thing I had that was suitable to give as a gift, because I've got quite a few bottles of the chaat masala left. And he happened to have in his pocket an unopened bottle of eye drops. These are Siddha medicine eye drops. Now, I've tried Siddha medicine before, and it didn't work. I tried 2 bottles, and the practitioner said if it doesn't work, no point taking any more. Okay? And this one, you put the eye drops 3 times a day, and unlike the earlier Siddha medicine, this one doesn't sting, but it does make your eyes water. And the birthday boy who gave it to me said that this to expect it, because that's how the medicine works to remove toxins from the eyes, in the tears. Okay, that was fine. So, like put it in, it doesn't hurt or sting. So that was like very unusual, because normally, well, the earlier acetaminophen did sting a bit. And the next morning when I woke up, I had a lot of waxy eye wax, okay, tahi mata. So if anybody has ever suffered dry eyes, you'll know that when you wake up in the morning, especially if you've been sleeping on the fan or aircon, and you haven't hydrated yourself enough, you get grainy, sandy eye wax kind of stuck, and then you use your finger and it comes off, and it's like one little small grain of sand like that. So when it's waxy, it's really good, because it's anti-dry eyes, because dry eyes is caused by the rapid evaporation of tears, because the eyes is always has a layer of tears on it, water, to keep it moist. Okay, so at Vision Space, if they have a machine which UMMC doesn't have, or if they have, they've never tested me on it, which measures the time for your tears to evaporate from your eyes. Okay, so there's a certain threshold, and if it's above that number, then you don't have dry eyes. If it's shorter, it evaporates very fast, and you don't have oils on the eyes, which the body produces. Now, the eyes have various glands. Some produce tears. I can't remember the names. Okay, you could just look up eye anatomy and find out. They've also got glands which produce an oil or waxy substance to inhibit evaporation. So when you have waxy eye wax, it means that particular oil gland is working fine, so I'm so happy with that. And the fact that it doesn't sting. And unlike the Ayurveda medicine, the Ayurveda eye bath, it's like eye drops, but I call it an eye bath because it's about 200 ml, which the practitioner, the therapist, will pour into my eye slowly, from a paper cup. Now, it's not like one drop, this is like 200 ml like that, and does it for both eyes. Initially, it stings a bit, and then you can't keep your eyes open because of the reflex action, but, you learn to, what do you call it, how do you say it? You learn to anticipate anxiety, get rid of anxiety and the pain. If it's a reflex action, it closes. I tell the therapist, just stop, don't pour anymore, because wasted if you pour. Just let the eyes relax, and I'll as soon as I can, I'll open again. So like that lah. From young, I've had phobia of putting things in my eyes. The first time I've had to put eye drops in the eyes, such a drama. Had to lie on the bed, put in the corner of my eye, and then like turn my head so that it goes to my eye, blink like crazy, so it spreads around. But over the past 5 years, I've desensitized myself to putting eye drops. Last time I couldn't put eye drops in my own eyes, especially if I open my eyes and have the drop on my eye like that. Wow, that one like big trauma. That one also now I can't do. So I just developed a technique where I drop it at the corner of the eye and then blink like crazy, spread to the rest, but not so drama like initially 5 years ago lah. What else? The acupuncture, the supplements, the traditional Chinese medicine are basically the same thing. Lutein, zeaxanthin, vitamin A, C, E, zinc, selenium. This one they've known for thousands of years. Trial and error or whatever herbs that are high in these nutrients for the eye. So it's applied topically, and also take care of my nutrition so that I take these nutrients orally. Taking things orally is like a longer route. It has to survive the stomach acid, and then has to be digested by the gut microbiome, has to cross the gut-blood barrier, enter the blood, and then hopefully the circulatory system takes it to every cell in your body, including your eyes. Okay, so it's like more indirect. Now in France, just as an aside, they don't prescribe antibiotics orally like most of the West does. In France, they have a special profession of nurses who go to people's house to administer injections, because the French believe in administrating things like antibiotics or whatever through injections, because it doesn't, what do you call it, involve the process of digestion. It just goes straight to your, through the IV intravenously into your bloodstream, and it's more efficient that way. Now in Malaysia, antibiotics given by injections, I think 60s and 70s was the last time, like you go to clinic as a child, and then mother will threaten you, go to send you to clinic, doctor give you injection, like you like scare the hell out of us kind of thing. But now you go to clinic, they just give medicine orally, they hardly give injections. Don't know why. Maybe big pharma makes more money through selling drugs or injections, or injections that be stored in the fridge or whatever reason. But nowadays, my children hardly ever get injected with anything, unlike in the 60s and 70s. My age is telling, okay? So I've covered acupuncture, I've covered ayurveda, siddha medicine, eye drops, and the supplements, and my nutrition lah. So antioxidants for the eyes, all antioxidants, vitamins and enzymes degrade at 57 Celsius. So you have to eat it raw to derive maximum benefit. Now, Dr. William Lee, L-I, not L-E-E, advises people to eat 1 raw egg yolk daily for the lutein and zeaxanthin primarily, because if you cook the egg, then the lutein zeaxanthin is neutralized and you don't derive the benefit. But aside from making homemade mayonnaise, I don't know of any other recipe where you can use 1 raw egg yolk daily. Okay, so you just have to swallow it lah. But I think it's a very inefficient way to consume lutein and zeaxanthin. Much easier to eat raw carrots, raw sweet potatoes, raw pumpkins. And if you don't know how to eat raw pumpkins or raw sweet potatoes, basically you peel it with a potato peeler and use a potato peeler to shave the flesh of the pumpkin or the sweet potato, and then use the shavings, mix it in your salad. And I kid you not, it tastes exactly like carrots. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. If you try to cut up pumpkin or sweet potatoes, it will end up very hard, even if you try to cut into juliennes, and the mouthfeel is just not right. So, ow, I just banged my knee against my computer printer. So this crash I had, I injured both knees, I got abrasions on both knees. I've been taking the painkiller, Voltaren, every 8 hours or so, and Pian, which is anti-swelling medication. Now, Pian is derived from papaya, from green papaya. It's the enzyme that's active in green papaya, and it reduces swelling. And I've also had 2 meals of som tam, which is the Thai green papaya salad, as an adjunct to the Pian that I take orally. The painkiller in the hierarchy of painkillers is like number 4 most powerful. The most powerful painkiller I've ever tried is tramadol, which I do not recommend. It's a piece of crap medicine because it's an opiate, and it stops peristalsis. It paralyzes your parasympathetic nervous system, so it stops peristalsis. So I was wondering why, when I was in the ward, all these patients fart like crazy, and stinky farts, because they also on tramadol, and then the paralysis stops, so all the food that they eat is putrefying in their stomach, and because it doesn't move, and then the farts that come out, I tell you, like very power lah, let's put it that way. Okay, and then it induces nausea, which also inhibits, creates loss of appetite, so you don't feel like eating, and when you don't eat, you have no nutrients. But if you don't have nutrients, also all get rotting in your stomach, putrefying your stomach. So it's a piece of shit medicine, tramadol. It's an opiate derived, just like codeine sulfate. The best one I like, the most powerful painkiller I like is Acoxia. It's a COX-2 inhibitor, and it's very specific to the COX-2 receptor. I think the ratio is like for every 2,000 COX-2 inhibits, it only inhibits one COX-1 inhibitor. So because it's very targeted, there are no side effects, and it's very powerful. It's my Acoxia is my painkiller of choice. Number 3 is Celebrex, which I've taken also okay lah. And then number 4 is Voltaren. In fact, the medical assistant said, because they're very limited drugs in the clinic community, they said, in your situation, we ought to give Celebrex, but we only have Voltaren, so we give you Voltaren lah, what to do. Okay. Then next down from Voltaren is Ponstan, which is a shit medicine because it causes acidity in the stomach. You have to make sure you eat the substantial meat before you take the Ponstan, and not that great a painkiller anyway. It's so much better to take Acoxia if you really need, or you take Voltaren. Voltaren has hardly any side effects. It's fine. They tell you have to eat it after a meal, but it doesn't have to be a really big substantial meal. It's fine. And then below Ponstan is the PCM, paracetamol. Okay, paracetamol also has a therapeutic dose. Okay, when I was a sub warden at the University of London, one of the students in the hall of residence committed suicide by taking a whole bottle of paracetamol, PCM. And he took like 3 or 4 months to die, and it's not pleasant lah, okay, because it causes irreversible damage to your liver, so you slowly die over 3 or 4 months, and by the time you die you regret so many times. So it's not recommended way to euthanize yourself, to unalive yourself, as the current lingo on YouTube is, because they can't use certain words, so they create these words, unalive yourself. And then instead of shooting someone, they say pew pew the guy, because use the word that, then somebody complain, and then when they take down your video and that kind of thing. Yeah, I think I've covered all the grounds. The other thing I put on my wound last year in October, I had minor oral surgery under GA, extracted both my wisdom tooth, my 3/8 and my 4/8. They recommended I buy, because government hospital don't supply this thing because this is like premium drug. Ginger gel is you can get it in a gel form, which you can apply with cotton buds or a clean finger on your wound in your mouth. If you're doing dental implants or minor oral surgery, you got sutures or whatever. It promotes healing because the active ingredient is hyaluronic acid. I can't pronounce the thing properly, hyaluronic acid or something, but it's HYLA something. So this thing is the active ingredient, and it's also found in snake oil and in minyak gamat, sea cucumber oil. Now, actually, all soft tissue animals has this hyaluronic acid, because that's how they promote healing when they have wounds. Okay, so traditionally people extract it out of sea cucumber from Langkawi, the golden sea cucumber or whatever, and they use coconut oil as a solvent, and you can buy one bottle at any traditional Malay jamu shop or Indonesian jamu shop for 4 ringgit, very cost effective. So anyway, I had extra ginger gel, and earlier I just simply poured and a bit of wastage, because the wound was very sensitive, can't touch my finger, and then I can't see very well. So I took for the next 3 days until yesterday. Today I didn't go to the clinic community, and the nurse would clean the wound with saline, and then she'll apply the thing with cotton. She pour it onto the cotton and then dab the thing. But yesterday I had the idea. I used these the drop the dropper for my eye drops. Okay, so I got one bottle which the cap had broken, but the dropper still works. So I cleaned it up. So I sucked it out of the vial, of the ginger vial. Then I applied myself. Lah. Don't bother going to the clinic. And I tell you, the first day I did it, I think it was like Sunday morning, 4:20. Within half an hour, the wound dried up, like magic. And then I applied every day. So now I can put my hand on my knee, left and right. The earlier this morning, the there's one part where the abrasion was quite wet. What happens is WhatsApp has a limit for voice notes, half an hour. I didn't realize I was yakking for so long. So anyway, the hyaluronic acid is quite miraculous. It promotes wound healing like really crazy fast. So although it's supposed to be for wounds in the mouth, in the oral cavity, I put it on my abrasions and it works. So I've found out a new use for this hyaluronic acid, whatever it's pronounced. Cosmeticians and dermatologists also put it on some skin preparations, some brands, they have it as an active ingredient. Don't know why they put it there. Maybe it increases the elasticity of the collagen, makes you look younger or whatever lah. That's fine. The other thing about hydrating my eyes by drinking lots of water, one of the issues with that, especially if you drink water at night, is that you'll have to wake up to pee lah. So that's a trade-off. So either you stop drinking after 6 p.m. Or drink a lot before, or you just wake up, pee, and then go back to sleep. Some people can't go back to sleep. I don't let sleep or unable to sleep bother me. So if I can't go back to sleep at 3, 4 in the morning, I just go online and do some research, because I like reading at that time of the day because it's cool. There's no distraction, no noise. This is the perfect time of the day, night to study lah. I love studying. I'm always learning something, or rather. And this goes back to my teen, when somebody told me that the brain does not rest by not doing anything. It doesn't rest by doing nothing. It rests by doing something else. So if you're tired of studying something, you just close the book and you read a book on another subject. Or if you're really tired, just go to sleep. Because once your brain is saturated, you can't do anything. Just go to sleep. And then when you wake up, you feel so fresh and you're ready to absorb more material. Okay, that's a bit my personal philosophy on learning. I'm a great advocate of learning theory as opposed to pedagogy. I've got certificates in teaching, which is about pedagogy. But the thing is, you can have the best teacher, you can have the teacher using the best teaching technique, using the best material to teach you, but unless a certain switch is not switched on in the student, nothing gets in the head. Okay, so you have to switch on people's heads first, inside, and you can do it for yourself. Okay, so you just create some scripts in NLP in your consciousness, then you run them. When you sleep, and then it becomes part of your belief system and your core beliefs, So, you just tell yourself you love to learn, you love understanding the world around you, you love exploring to understand how things work and all that. And the moment you believe it becomes part of your core belief, then it becomes part of you. It's very simple. Just like how I teach people to do the vegan diet or the traffic light system, which I advocate, is to change your mindset first, okay? If you don't change your mindset, whatever I tell you also, you won't do. And that's why I do a lot of my seminars together with like practical. You do a workshop so that people can taste for themselves that it's actually quite nice, not eating vegetables. You do feel full, and it's quite tasty, that you don't have to have meat to have a satisfying meal. And once you've tried it and you prepare it yourself, then it's easier for you to make it on your own, because I can teach you whatever I know, but then if you don't do it, then you don't get the benefit. You actually have to do it yourself. You actually have to eat the food that I recommend. Okay. And what I recommend is not me, because I'm not nutritional dietitian, whatever. When I learn something, I find out who's the world's leading expert in that field and learn from them. Okay. So for nutritional biochemistry, I follow the work of Thomas Colin Campbell. His son also works for him, also a professor at Cornell. And then people like Kairos Kambata, PhD, is his disciple. And Kairos Kambata also has a PhD in nutritional biochemistry. So, and then people like Michael Greger, all these authoritative people, don't listen to this stupid TikToker influencer thing, because they're all paid to say all this to promote some product or another. And I mean, whenever I say something, I give you the source. So you don't believe me, you go and find out from the source, read for yourself. Okay. So it's not like me telling, I'm not God to tell you whatever. I just learn from the best, and I compare them. And then what's the difference between this guy, that guy? A lot of the plant-based people, they say similar things. Many people who are not plant-based will say eat raw egg yolk lah, whatever. They have a point, but also why are they promoting raw egg yolk? For the lutein and zeaxanthin, there are other ways to get lutein. It doesn't have to be from raw eggs. Okay. Yeah, that's it. I think I better go back to sleep. I woke up just now to pee, and then made a video, edited a video, just upload it to Instagram. I'll upload it to YouTube later, but this is the political side, not the health one. So I've been very busy every day, been going to one treatment or another. Monday was a rest day, but yesterday I went for ayurveda. Day before yesterday was a rest day. Yesterday went for ayurveda, and that was Tuesday. Today, Wednesday, I'm going for the optical, what do you call it, the optometrist. Okay, Miss Lou is quite good. She takes the time to explain things to me, show me whatever the Bruch's layer, which is the choroid, which is the retinal pigment epithelium, which is the macula, which is the fovea centralis, all the thing the OCT explained to me lah. And then I have any questions I can ask, and she will answer one lah. Unlike the medical officers, MMC, they got no time to explain to treat patient like dungus, as if they know everything. 4 years they bullshit me, nobody kicked their backside. Maybe I should write to the head of department as well as the dean and the vice chancellor, tell them kao. I mean, you fuck around with the patient for 4 years, Can you imagine how upset I am when you give me a wrong diagnosis? The last time I go and tell someone kao was Professor Syed Muhammad Haq, who was head of Department of Psychiatry at UKM, because I was his patient as a psychiatric patient for 10 years. And then every time try new drug, try different dose lah, what are that, like never cured me for 10 years. So one day I had to meet him at his office at the faculty, not at the clinic, because he was interviewing master students for their Viva or PhD students, whatever. So when I was at his office, the clinic, while waiting for my turn, I saw there was a notice board, and on that notice board was a syllabus for the masters in psychiatric medicine. And in the syllabus, they said, what is a neurosis? What are the different forms of neurosis? What are the psychosis? What are the forms of psychosis? What are delusions? What are different for delusions of reference, delusion of grandeur, delusion of persecution, phobia, blah, blah, blah. And then all the drugs they use, the metabolic pathway. And I said, fuck, man, the past 10 years, I've been learning all this on my own, because every time they try a new drug, I want to know what it is, how it works, what are the side effects. So I go to my friend who are medical students, I read their textbooks and ask them to explain to me, what's going on, all that. So I said, fuck, I know as much as these master student buggers. And still after 10 years, they can't cure me. So I wrote a letter to he was the head department, so I complained about him, wrote to the dean, wrote to the vice chancellor, and then tell them cow. And then the thing is, they will never reply lah, because nobody replies letters from a psychiatric patient. And that was when I worked as a research. After that, I worked as a research assistant at University Malaya, the Faculty of Education, because my friend, who was the HR director for Guinness Anchor, in fact, when Guinness and Anchor merged, at that time in the 80s, it was the largest merger in Malaysia, and he presided over it as the HR director for Guinness. So anyway, he had a piece of land in Tanjung Sepat, and I'd go and visit him. I know him from bird watching days lah, from Malaysian Nature Society. So his next door neighbor is this professor who I end up working with him. So he said, hey, go and have a chat with this professor next door. You'll find him very interesting. So I went next door, and then I had a chat with him. We caught on like a house on fire. And, he had immediate rapport, and I explained him the issues I'm having. He said, Azlan, there's nothing wrong with you lah. The problem is your level is so high, those people don't understand you, they think you're mad. Okay, so you just forget about them, stop taking the medication, because they just fuck up your brain, which I suspected also. And he taught me coping skills, and he also did this because his program was for gifted and talented children, and for superior children as well. So he had instruments. I like IQ Tesla, like culture fair, multiple theories of intelligence, Howard Gardner's work, and all that. So I took all those tests, and then he didn't want to boost my ego. He said, Azan, I'm not going to tell you result, but what you need is coping skills. I'll teach you the coping skills. So anyway, the last time I tested my IQ, you can test online for free lah. It's 168. And I'm not boasting. I just want to tell you, okay, so that you know the kind of shit I have to go through, and that's why I'm not very intolerant, stupid people, because they're not my intellectual, and then they want to teach me something or to order me about. I feel I get a lot of existential angst from that lah. Anyway, so after working for a year with him, he taught me, he sacked me. He said, Azlan, I already taught you all you need to know. I don't want you to be dependent on me. I don't need to be a crutch. You're ready to soar on your own. So he sacked me. I think one of the most wonderful acts of kindness he ever did. So from there, I worked with Apple. At that time, Apple didn't have a presence in Malaysia. Sapura was their main distributor, so I worked in Apple Center, teaching people software. Oh, before that, I was editing a magazine called The Malaysian Technologist. I was the editor, contract editor. This company, subcontract the magazine editing from the Malaysian Technological Society or Malaysian Society of Technologists or something. So anyway, I was doing that, and I was using PageMaker and all that, and then sometimes there's something wrong with the machine. The Apple Center guy had to come and do some troubleshooting, but he was very impressed with my ability to use the software. So they had a vacancy in Apple Center. He asked me to join, so I went and joined. And gaji was not much lah that time. I think 1,002 or something. And then I attended press conferences when I was a freelance writer, and one of the press conferences I attended was by Digital Equipment, and then the person in charge of the media at Digital Equipment got a promotion from doing the same work in Malaysia, based in Hong Kong. So one of his jobs to get the promotion is to find his replacement. He recommended me, and I had a big jump in salary from 1,002 to 2,008 at Digital Equipment. And in my first year at Digital Equipment, I won for the company the PICOM Award. PICOM is the Persatuan Industri Computer Malaysia. And I won this award beating people with, huge multi-million dollar budget, and been around for donkey's years. People like ICL, IBM, Hewlett-Packard, and all that. So suddenly there's this new boy in the block won the award. Very, very well. So I had a 25% or 30% increase in my pay to 3,003 from 2008 to 2003, the second year. So I was very happy working there. Before that, I used to work as a reporter for Straits Times. But it was very tough, okay, because I was on the psychiatric medications at that time. and they had, really stupid side effects, fuck up my mind and all that. So it's always like a battle, like swinging against a tide, knocking my head against a brick wall just to be functional. And this was in the 82 to 85 that time, 1982, 85. Okay. And the weird thing was, in 2002, when I came back from Sabah, I went to UH because I was sick and tired of GH, and I was assigned to this doctor who was an associate professor. In fact, his name is Steven Jambunathan. He's the brother of a famous psychologist in Malaysia, Paul Jambunathan. So he reviewed my case because new case, do the history all over again rather than rely on previous doctor's notes. Then he found out actually my first diagnosis in England, 1979, was a huge mistake, because what happened was I told the doctor I had a vivid dream and it was very scary. So the dream was the people in the university, my friends, my Malay Muslim friends at Brunel University, master students, most of them, I wrote their master's thesis for them because their English was so poor. They're Kelantanese, they were sponsored by Puspati to do liquid penetrant technology, and then they had to write their thesis, but they can't string a sentence for nuts. So I had to write the thesis for them. And to write the thesis for someone, to edit it, you have to understand the stuff before you can write it. So I basically also self-taught myself by editing their thesis, master's degree in liquid penetrant technology, as a form of non-destructive testing. Because, when you want to test vessels, nuclear reactors and all that, you have to use these various techniques without destroying the vessel itself. So anyway, you see, what happens is this group, they're a bit paranoid. They won't eat in the canteen or cafeteria because they're not sure whether it's halal or not. So we used to go and cook. And I've been always a good cook from childhood days because I love to eat. And if you love to eat, you love to cook because you can't rely on someone else screwing up the thing and make the dish not delicious. You have to make it the way you like it. So you learn to cook and do it. So anyway, you see, in this group, we had three, it divided to three teams. One go shopping, one do cooking, and one do washing up. Okay, so anybody can do the what do you call it, the shopping. But the thing is, when you shop for 15, 20 people groceries, by the time you walk back from Safeway, your fingers like macam nak putus carrying the plastic bag. And if it's raining, you still have to come back, because people have to wait for have to eat, so they're waiting for the groceries. Then the people who cook, on any particular day, there'll always be two people. They take turns, but you have to be good to be nominated to be in the cooking team. If you don't know how to cook, people won't let you do that. And because I'm quite a good cook, I'm always permanently on the cooking team. It's me and someone else, And then if you're no good at shopping, no good at cooking, then you do the washing up no choice you have to do something. So anyway, I was sick. I had a postnasal infection. And because I was sick, I couldn't cook. So what they did was they did a prayer session for me. But for some reason, my brain was so very funny, one got ESP or what. In my dream, I dreamt, while I was sleeping, I dreamt that these friends of mine were in a circle and chanting Quranic verses, and I saw a flame like a candlelight from one head jumping to another head, which is a freaky dream, okay? I mean, it's freaky scary. And at first I thought it was due to delirium, due to pyrexia, like you have this nightmare from high temperature. But 10 years later, I met one of the group, and he at the time at Brunel was doing his PhD in silicon chemistry. He later became a professor and retired as a professor at USM Penang. So 10 years later, I met him in London when I was doing my postgrad studies in the 90s, mid 90s. No, more than 10 years. I was at university until 82. about 10 years later, 12 years later. I met him in London because he was doing a sabbatical and he was doing the research at Cambridge, okay? But somehow we met in Malaysia Hall. And he told me about the fact that they were praying for me to get well so that I could start cooking for them. And it's kind of weird lah. They were praying for me, and then in the dream, it's like some kind of ESP I received, but interpreted as a nightmare in the dream. Anyway, the stupid psychiatrist, I ended up waking up the middle of the night with this scary nightmare. Went to see the subwarden and then ended up in security. Security called ambulance and then jumped in the ambulance and ended up at the emergency. And they thought I was on drugs, because at university in those days, the recreational drug of choice was LSD, which was synthesized in the organic chemistry lab by the master's students, and they sell it in the students' union. So they took urine specimens from me, urine samples plus blood specimens, and then there were no metabolites of LSD. So by elimination, they thought I was a psychiatric case. And then when I told them about that nightmare, they thought it was a hallucination. So they thought I was having, a psychiatric episode. They call it an acute episodic schizophrenic form psychosis. But basically, it was just a nightmare. And this one I only knew when Professor Stephen Jambunadan told me that hallucinations never occur in the sleep state. They only occur in the wake state. Okay, and I was definitely sleeping the time when I had the nightmare. So it wasn't a hallucination. This whole bloody 10 years was a fucking waste of time and torture for me. At that time, I was very angry about it, But then looking back, it was actually blessing in disguise because due to that, I learned a lot about mind science, neuroscience, neurochemistry, and a whole bunch of things that I wouldn't have explored because otherwise I would have no interest. I had only interest in that because I'm trying to find out what's going on and how to help myself to cure myself. And later on, when I found out about cognitive behavioral therapy by David D. Burns, and he defined one of the underlying principles of cognitive behavioral therapy as understanding what's going on in itself cures you. Okay. So that's a very powerful thing. He wrote a whole book just based on that. It's called Feeling Good. You can get a copy from my Telegram channel. And he's written other books, Feeling Good for Couple, Feeling Good Workbook, Feeling Good for Children, Feeling Good for whatever lah. So his books are all self-help books. But the founder of cognitive behavioral therapy is it's a psychiatrist called Aaron Beck, but he doesn't write for the general layman. His work is very inaccessible, full of jargon and mumbo jumbo, very hard to understand. But David Burns' book, I tell you, when I first got it hard copy, the time I can read hard copy books. Now I can't read hard copy books anymore. I tell you, it was worth its weight in gold. I've given hard copy to 4 different people, save their lives, and then when they get better, they give me a new copy back as thank you for whatever. So that book I've been giving multiple copies to many people, but now with ebooks you can download it for free and doesn't have to be a hard copy. I remember one time I went to MPH warehouse sale in section 13 PJ somewhere where MPH had their warehouse, and I got a copy like really cheap price lah, because warehouse sale, everything also price is nice, and I think that was the last time I bought that book hard copy. Now anyway, if you just I don't know whether you know which websites to go to get free ebooks. My first choice is Z Library, but they have to keep changing their domain name because people try to shut them down. There's also Ocean of PDF, which is quite good. PDF Drive I don't like because it's not very user-friendly interface. And then there are lousy ones like Gutenberg Press and all that, which only have like ancient history kind of books, like got no copyright type books only. I mean, it's like all the authors have died 100 years ago, and like Chaucer, Shakespeare, people like that. So limited use. Z Library has pretty good books again. Something published a month ago, you can also already find on Z Library. Sometimes multiple copies in different formats. So like Z Library. The best way to get their most current URL to join is to look up Z Library at Wikipedia, because they update there. Then the most current link is there. Okay. Yeah. So being visually impaired person, I am, or being OKU in Malaysia, we are all exempt from copyright infringement. So you can download from my Telegram channel. It's perfectly legal. Malaysia signed a treaty in 2013 called the Marrakesh Visually Impaired Persons Treaty 2013, and we changed our Copyright Act and our Printing Presses and Publications Act to comply with our obligations under the treaty. And when they were debating it in Parliament to change the law, some of the MPs were quite enlightened and said, hey, why you only give this exemption to visually impaired people? Deaf people also need this exemption, because if deaf people watch a YouTube video, for example, if there are no subtitles, they don't know what's going on. So they need the right to put subtitles. Things like that. So in Malaysia, not just all OKU, not just blind people or visually impaired people have this exemption, but all OKUs and their caregivers as well have this exemption. So if you download and you're not an OKU, you can only keep it for your own personal use. You cannot forward, but I can give it to anyone I like. I have the right to import, export, distribute, edit, modify, alter, reformat, whatever damn thing I want to do with it, I can do. I don't have to ask permission from the copyright owner. I'm legally allowed to do it, and I'm legally allowed to give it to anybody I please, including you lah. So you're the chosen one. I give all these things free. So if you don't have Telegram, rugi lah, because I got 1,500 books on health and whatever, and mind science and medical undergraduate textbook, postgraduate textbook, dental also, and neuroscience, whatever is there, 1,500. So imagine if one book is $100, you got $150,000 worth of books that you can download for free. If you don't install Telegram, you siao lah, I tell you. What else? Yeah, political books. I got two channels for politics. One is Surat Khabar Baru, and then another one is with a think tank lah. But I'm not the only admin there. The other admins, so that one I can't simply add people to the think tank group. But I always cross post at Surat Khabar Baru. I haven't checked lah. Last time I checked, I got a few hundred books there, mostly on political economy, politics, political science, revolution theory, sociology, everything to do with society and all that lah. Okay, environmentalism, stuff like that. Okay, yeah. I think I'm ready to go to sleep now, and better stop here because almost another 30 minutes. So have a wonderful week ahead. I'm going for my optometry tomorrow. Thursday, I'm going to a lecture on the sacred journey of the soul. And then Friday, I go for my ayurveda again. Next Monday, I go for ayurveda again. This Sunday, I'm meeting some people coming down from Penang who want to meet me and talk about green politics. And anyway, I'm pretty busy, and I have to stay healthy. I can't afford to get sick. I just took early this morning, my long-acting vitamin D. Vitamin D is not really a vitamin, acts more like a hormone. It's necessary for 300 different physiological processes in the body. But among the things it does, it boosts immunity. So if you get caught in the rain, you will get sick. And one of the easiest ways to get vitamin D, or cheapest, cost-effective ways, is to take cod liver oil or halibut liver oil, fish liver oil. Fish liver oil has vitamin D as well as vitamin A. And I need vitamin A because it's part of the ACE for my eyes. So I bought 2 bottles today because they come in twin packs, 40 ringgit. I can't buy one bottle, 20 ringgit. I have to buy 2. And then you can get it. I bought Scott's emulsion. Actually, I wanted to buy halibut orange, but nobody seems to carry it. Maybe the company went bunkos or what, or not enough halibut nowadays to make halibut liver oil. So buy the Scott's emulsion, which is cod liver oil. And it has vitamin A, vitamin D, and calcium. So calcium, you have to be careful. You have to take vitamin K, and nobody sells vitamin K supplements. You eat green leafy vegetables, especially fragrant herbs, you'll get vitamin K, because vitamin K will take the calcium out of the blood, put it in your bones. If you have high calcium diet but no vitamin K, then you'll calcify your blood vessels and you get a heart attack, myocardial infarction or whatever, because when your blood vessels are calcified, it's no more flexible.
Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to show your support.